Welcome back to the More Than Capable Mompreneur podcast. I'm Shannon Baker, a coffee-loving mompreneur that started as a virtual assistant and turned into a total systems geek. And I want to help you shift your mindset and embrace your worthiness while creating systems in your business so you can be more productive and build success on your own terms without the mom guilt. Are you loving that? Well, I hope you're ready for real conversations that will help you beat the perfectionist inside, rediscover your strengths, and up-level your self-love in the mom cracks of time so you can stop letting fear hold you back because you are enough and you do enough. We are more than capable mompreneurs. So grab your cup of coffee, some sparkling water, or pour a glass of your favorite wine and let's dive in.
Do you sometimes find it hard to take the time you need to recharge your battery, which you need to do so that you can take care of your family and your business and achieve sustainable growth? Well, if it's a struggle for you, don't worry, you are not alone, and this episode is going to change that for you. I'm going to be chatting with Marcia Sheehan, the founder of the Connector Conference and Her Hideaways, and she plans some amazing SheEO refocus retreats in Occoquan, Virginia, which is a little less than 25 miles from Washington, D.C. Now, you may not be able to travel to a Her Hideaways location, but guess what? You can DIY your SheEO retreat at home or even in a hotel room if you would like. Yes, you absolutely can, and Marcia's tips are going to help you do that. Now, you may be wondering, well, this sounds really good, but I don't think I really need this. Well, imagine how you'll feel when you know exactly where to focus your time and your energy so you can stop spinning your wheels in your business. And because you're completing specific tasks, you're going to start gaining momentum in your business to reach your goals. Imagine how confident you'll feel when you have a plan to help you reach those goals that you've picked. And then when this focused work is complete, you get some quiet time all to yourself with no interruptions. Well, girl, it is not a dream. You can actually plan again to do this retreat at home or book yourself a night at a Airbnb, a hotel, anywhere else where you can be by yourself so you can implement the tips that you're going to hear in this episode, which is episode number 71. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. So today's guest is Marcia Sheehan, and Marcia and I met through a local connection who I met through another connection. So if you don't believe there's a power in networking and being engaged, this relationship is a perfect example of why you need to invest the time in that. So today, Marcia is going to talk to us about self-care planning retreats. It's one thing that we tend to overlook as busy SheEOs. We don't take care of ourselves personally. We focus on either our personal life or growing our business, and we forget to blend the two together. But the information that Marcia is going to share with us today is going to help us to see how we can blend the two and take better care of ourselves while also growing our business. So, Marcia, before we jump into this juicy topic, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Thank you so much for the warm welcome, Shannon. I'm so excited to be here. And what you said about connecting with other people and networking, I bleed networking and connections. I think it's so important because you just never know, when you show up for yourself, you never know what type of doors that's going to open and what type of doors you can open for other people as well. Because, when you go into networking, it's all about, it's a collaborative experience, So my history is I started in 2013. I started writing an online blog. I was a stay-at-home mom, and it was helping me to navigate becoming sober. And so I wrote as a way to heal myself and process everything that was going on. From there, I started networking with business owners and bloggers in the DC, Maryland area, the DMV. That's what we call it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I started networking in the DMV as a blogger, and I just fell in love with women entrepreneurs. Those were my people, just the creativity, the curiosity, women just being so driven by what it is they were providing, either like a product-based business, a service business, you know, other bloggers, like everybody was mission and purpose driven. And so I was like, I have to start a business. So I started a product-based business, and that business was so wrong for me, but it led me to what was right for me. And so while I was networking for that product-based business, I started to notice a trend with all of the other women that I was networking with. And it's like you see in others what is happening within you. You know, I believe that others like reflect to you what's happening within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to notice that like women were putting everyone and everything before their own needs. So even if they were working on their business or networking or whatever, it was strictly regarding their business. It wasn't like they weren't filling their cup in a way that was like getting to the Shannon or to the Marcia. Like it was like Marcia, the business owner, Marcia, the mom, Marcia, the wife, Marcia, the sister, you know, there was nothing for Marcia. So I started a women's enrichment society, and that I owned that from 2015 to 2019. We did dissolve it based on just evolution. But during that, we started the Connector Conference, which was a day's worth of connection to yourself and to other women in a conference setting. So that's what the society was. It was me providing opportunities for women to link up in person. It was part spirituality, part workshop type. So like we would get together and have our meetings and go through the practices and just basically see and hear each other as people, not as business owners, not as, you know, community leaders or moms or anything. It was just the getting to know the person. And so that's what the Connector Conference, that's where that came from, was I wanted to be able to provide that on a bigger scale than actually having people have to join the membership, because it was like a, you know, an inclusive secret society. Like you had to sign a non-disclosure just to protect the privacy of the women who were in the group. So anyway, that's where that started. And then the Connector Conference led into Her Hideaways, which, so I still have Connector Conference and I have Her Hideaways, and they are both focused on, like I said, like getting women to connect with themselves, because I feel like when you are fully connected to yourself as a person and yourself as a business owner, it really feeds into everything that you touch. You know, you become a better wife, a better mother, a better community member, because you're being fulfilled. Like, so that was
great.
So
No,
that's me in a nutshell.
okay. And I learned about Her Hideaways first, and then over time I learned about the Connector Conference, but I was just so enamored with the idea behind Her Hideaways that I like followed immediately. And it was because of the testimonial of someone else that we know that I was like, oh, I really need to check this out, because she always talks about these CEO retreats and how great they are. And I just thought that was so phenomenal, because your packages is not just the room, so to speak, but it's really a full-on experience, the way you take care of the women, well, that I've seen that come to you and you've arranged for the CEO retreat for them. So that's definitely a great way for us to get away, have time to just focus on growing our business. But at the same time, while we're planning and strategizing, we feed into ourselves with the self-care and just the downtime because of the atmosphere that you create. So tell us a little bit more about Her Hideaways and how you've seen it bloom or blossom from the time you started it till now.
Sure. Yeah. So our tagline is "We nurture the nurturers," and so it's based for any woman who basically just needs to get away and have like a fresh start, or have that focused time and energy to spend on her business. So we you buy a package, you go to the website, you buy a package, and then from the moment that you buy that package, your beautifully curated like experience starts to happen. So we send you a questionnaire that like really digs in, like, why is it that you're doing this? Like, what do you want to get out of this trip? We do just have the weekend dates available on the website, but we also do weekday retreats because we have found that like business owners prefer to do it during the week. But so based on the response that we get in the questionnaire, we're able to create a personalized experience for you for your trip. So we also, in the questionnaire, we ask if you want to speak to, we have a life coach and a business coach who is available to do a complimentary 30-minute call. And that is actually to set you up for your hideaway. So we provide you with resources and, tools and strategies, like different things that my co-founder and I have found very beneficial to help us with our businesses. So we do provide those resources prior to your arrival via email, but we also have that where you can have that 30-minute live call with someone just to, map out like what exactly it is that you want to get out of this weekend. So that's all the business stuff. But then the personal stuff is like we have a welcome box that has spa type products available for you. There's locally sourced gifts like, a notepad from Gift and Gather, which is one of our preferred partners. You get like a postcard from Occoquan because we want to encourage you to send out some snail mail love while you're there on your retreat and feeling good. We have some brain food, like chocolates that are from the actual chocolate shop in Occoquan. So we have that, and then we also have like a vision board, like a station for you to create your own vision board while you're on there. There's pre-clipped magazine, images, and there's glue. And like we have, if you've never made a vision board, we actually have instructions on how you can do it. On the website, there's a secret link for you so that you can go and watch a video and why you want to make a vision board. And so we're trying to feed both your the personal side of you and then the professional side of you too, so that, because we know when you're feeding both of them, then it just makes the work that you're doing come out so much better. It's like it glitter and it sparkles, it's just like, it just glows a little brighter. So yeah.
No, and that's great. And especially that you provide instructions, because I can imagine just checking in, and just as women, we have so many things going on in our head. It's like, I'm going to do this when I'm there, and I'm going to do that. And the list goes on and on and on. And then we sit down and do something, and all the thoughts just fly out of our head, and we have no idea where to start. So having those designated kind of jump start things like a vision board is definitely a great way to start, and that you give instructions. That's just like awesome. And I think what really caught my attention with your packages was that welcome box and all the local things that were in there, especially the brain food. That personal touch to me was just, it meant a lot, that I was just like, okay, this is going on my wish list, that as soon as I can do this, I am booking myself a CEO retreat through Her Hideaways. I can't wait to experience that myself. Now, some of my listeners may be thinking, okay, well, this all sounds great, but I don't live in the DMV. And right now, at the time that we're recording this, most of us are still not traveling because of COVID. So any suggestions you can give for someone to maybe host their own kind of retreat at home, since they can't get the total experience by traveling to you?
Of course. It is possible to do, and I highly recommend it, because as women, it's very important that we ask for what we need and we make sure that it happens. And so first I say to start a folder. Like you can either start a folder on Trello. I know you're a big Trello fan, Shannon.
Yes.
That says, my refocused retreat. That's what we call the entrepreneur retreat. Start a folder that says refocus retreat, or you can have a physical folder, but that's just sending a message to the universe and yourself, like, this is going to happen. From there, you want to pick the date that you're going to do it. So I would recommend having like, if you are a mompreneur, I assume, because it's in the title of your podcast. So if you have little ones who are in school, just check the school calendar, make sure that they're going to be in school the whole day, even if it's virtual, there's still, like, I'm going to try to help you make workarounds here so that you can have uninterrupted time to work on your business. So, check the schedule and then figure out the date. And then you need to let people know, let your spouse know, let your childcare provider know, let your team, your contractors, your assistant, let all of them know that this date I am unavailable. Like, DND. If you need anything, let me know the day before by noon. Because this is going to be your genius time to have that uninterrupted, dedicated time to focus on big picture stuff for your business. Yeah. So all of the prior proper planning is going to help you prevent any issues from coming up last minute. So you're letting people know that you're doing this, you're going to be unavailable. And then the night before, I want you to actually set up your work area, and I want you to do it in a space that you're not used to working in. So like, if you have your home office, that's great. Of course, magic happens there. That's where you're spending the majority of your time doing your work. But for your retreat, I want you in a new environment. So if you're not able to go rent an Airbnb or get a hotel room or, go to a coffee shop or something like that, do it in your home, but like, just, put caution tape around your dining room or, what I'm saying? Or like, just put a do not disturb sign on your bedroom door and just have a designated space. I want you to have water there. I want you to have a thermos ready to go. You're going to pour your whole pot of coffee in that thermos. There's going to be no excuse to leave this area besides like taking like a walk during the day to clear your mind. But you're going to have your bag of nuts, like your avocado, like you're going to have your stuff that's going to help you throughout the day just to stay focused, and a candle too, but the important thing is just to get rid of the distractions. So I want it to be you, and also like when you have your folder on your Trello or your actual physical folder, you need to be adding stuff to it to prepare you for the day of your retreat, so that you actually know what it is you're doing. Because you're not going to go on a business retreat without like any idea. Like, am I mapping out the next quarter? Do I want to focus on creating, 3 months worth of social media content? Am I going to just work on like how to attract new audience members or sign clients or what? Like, have your reason for your retreat. And then as the time passes between now and when you do it, be adding to it.
Definitely appreciate those tips. And as you mentioned, clarity in what's the purpose of the retreat. Well, definitely that's a must to decide that before you get started, or everything else is just going to kind of be moot and you're just in a new space and you'll come out and still will not have made any progress. So that kind of defeats the purpose of a CEO retreat, right? So
exactly. Yeah. And something else that we do too, we talked about the welcome box, which is locally sourced, and the whole town of Occoquan it's 74% woman owned. So I just love that fact that it's an independent town that is just so beautiful, and you're supporting women when you're staying there. But we also provide stuff we have adult coloring books and nice, colored pencils and fine tip markers and things like that, because, and I would recommend doing that if you do your own retreat at home, having stuff that can just kind of give your brain a break, so either a Sudoku puzzle or a little affirmations book, stuff that is going to feed that personal side of your brain and your subconscious too. Because then when you are doing the deep level work, you're still going to give your brain breaks. Your brain needs breaks. Even,
yeah, Yeah. And why I think I really love this idea is because, I mean, as we've kind of talked about earlier in the episode, we're kind of conditioned to believe that self-care has to be something that's like really grand. Like we've got to, book a weekend, this huge extravagant weekend at a spa or be pampered that way, or, it's got to just be something that we just obviously feel we can't achieve. Or the other side of that is that while it may be in the budget, that we don't deserve that time away. So really it starts with our mindset or our perspective on self-care, because as you mentioned, we put so much time and energy into everyone else, we make ourselves last. So one of my goals with this podcast and with bringing you on is to reframe our mindset, because when we put ourselves first, invest in ourselves, take better care of ourselves, then that really fills us up so that we're available to do better at taking care of everyone else. Because if we burn out, who does that leave, or who's left to take care of us? Really, probably no one. So there are special things like this that we can do that not only will fill our cups as a busy woman, running a business, taking care of a family, but even adds to what we can do for the business, because you're really focused on getting that quiet space or that quiet time to really get strategic about what you're going to do next in your business and get it all planned out in that quiet time, but also kind of rejuvenate, relax at the same time. So that's like win-win right there, just for, that small period of time. So that is definitely why I love this option that you offer. And now even the DIY version's even great. Like I'm in the DMV, so I can book a retreat through Her Hideaways and drive. It's probably only about an hour or so away from me. For anyone that's not here, because I know I do have some listeners that may even be on the West Coast, you can do this at home, but make sure you follow her online and you can get some ideas that you can probably copy when you're planning your own retreat. So Marcia, thank you so much for sharing those with us. Like I've been excited about this because I love doing this kind of stuff too. So now I just have to pick. I'm a DIY one myself, but I'm also still going to book one because I just like to be pampered like that.
No, I love it. And that, I mean, it's sometimes we have to outsource our self-care, and that's what Her Hideaways is. You'll outsource your books, you'll outsource your, your social media and your podcast editing and all of that. But sometimes you need to just say like, I need time away. I need to focus on what matters most. And you have me, your big sister Marcia, or Aunt Marcia, whatever you want to refer to me. I'm the one that's behind the scenes, like taking care of everything for you, So yeah, it's so important because, we do as women, it's inherent within us to take care of everyone and everything. But you have to be on that list. You as a person and your business. I know I love my business. I love all of my businesses, all my business babies. But if I'm not taking care of myself and I'm not okay, it goes into the business and it goes into the family and the relationship. So yeah, it's important. Self-care is very important.
Definitely. Now, with these moving pieces of your business, or these two facets of your business, and your mom, so that means you've got some systems and things going on behind the scenes. So bonus question that I ask all my guests: what is one system or routine in either your life or in your business that you can't live without?
Shannon Baker. It is, and it's a new one too. It is waking up super early. Like I wake up 3 hours before. I call my kids my friends, but I wake up 3 hours before them just because I'm able to get that stuff done in the early morning. So I wake up in the winter, I wake up at 5:30, but spring and summer it's 4:30. And so, I don't want to mess too much with the circadian rhythm, but being up that early, and then during the day, I feel less pressure to be focused completely on my businesses because I've done that deep work in the early mornings when everything else is asleep. When everyone else is asleep. just refer to my family as things, but whatever. So doing that, but I also instated this year because, and this is why I love that, we're furthering our relationship, Shannon, is because my word for 2021 is systematize. And so I know, that's your jam, like you're all about the systems. But so I've actually added on to the early morning wake ups, I've added each day has a different theme. So Mondays, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, in those very early morning work sessions, like I have different things, like one day's for content, one thing's for systems and operations. And, so it's each day is themed. So it's a no-brainer. So anytime, if it's a Friday and that's about networking and podcast interviews, then, and I get an idea for content, I just open up my little content folder for Monday and drop in whatever it is. And then Monday I'm ready to go with it. So that's been like a big help.
That is awesome. First, I'm going to say you're my shero because 4:30, 5:30, if I had to get up that early, I would die. But it's all in knowing yourself. Like I have tried it and I've been able to do it maybe like one day and then I crash and burn by like the afternoon. So I had to get real with myself and just figure out a place where I could start, which is 7 a.m.
Okay.
And then I go and like you, I plan my, what I'm going to be working on, but my day starts heavily with my morning routine. And then I time block my schedule to make sure that I get all the things in that I need to. But I have the flexibility that in the afternoon, if I want to sit down and have lunch with my family or just, go to the Walmart or the Target and walk around with my daughter just so we can get out of the house, then we do that and I don't feel behind. So definitely that's an awesome system you have.
Yeah, but I'm saying like it's all about different strokes for different folks. Like I honestly, until I started doing the 4:30, I had tried 5:30, I tried 6 and 7, and something about 4:30 was magical for me. So I was able to create that as a routine. So like we're entrepreneurs, so we're constantly tweaking and testing and A/B testing and like, so just do that with yourself until you find something that works. And then when you find something that works, do it till it doesn't, but like, it does depend on where you're at in your path. Like if your kids are toddlers, I would never tell a mom of a toddler to wake up at 4:30. That would be negligent. Mm-hmm. But, like if you're someone like me, where my kids are kind of self-sufficient, they're 12 and 10, it works. Like with you having a 17-year-old, like you're not having to get her logged into the computer and all of that. So it works for you. So it's like there is no wrong way to do it. You just have to keep tweaking until you find what works for you.
Yeah, and that's great advice because I find, like I was actually in a room on Clubhouse this week, and someone was talking about the book, The Morning Routine. And that's one of the things it talks about, getting up in the morning. But the consensus in the room was that doesn't quite work for everyone. So yes. In the end, we all came to agreement that each of us has to come up with a schedule and a start time that works for us based on our lifestyle. Because as you mentioned, the moderator has an 11-month-old. 4:30, 5, sometimes not even 6 is not something that's plausible for her. So everyone has to find that space that works for them. And the same rules apply to self-care. I'm a big proponent of, even if you only get 5 minutes, do some deep breathing, look out of a window, get some water, walk around, put on a song and dance to it. Just do something that loosens you up, gives you a moment of space for yourself. And if you have more time, go with it. But I definitely recommend either the DIY retreats. And if you're in the DMV area, definitely look Out Her Hideaways and book your own retreat just once so that you can just experience that. And I guarantee you are going to be hooked. So Marcia, where can everyone find you online? I know you've mentioned it before, but repetition for emphasis.
Yeah, I would. So my personal is at marciasheehan.com. That's on Instagram, but I have at Her Hideaways and at Connector Conference. So if you're looking more, for like networking opportunities, the Connector Conference would work, but then Her Hideaways is all about the self-care solo retreats. So awesome. Thank you, Shannon, for this opportunity. I'm so grateful.
No, thank you for coming on. I'm looking forward to continuing to support each other, not only through the podcast, but on Clubhouse and in other ventures and collaborations as well.
Well, I hope you enjoyed Marcia's tips as much as I did. I am really looking forward to planning my own SheEO retreat so I can work on my plan for the next quarter. Now, if you would like to connect with Marcia on Instagram, the link to her profile as well as Her Hideaways is in the show notes. And while we didn't talk about it during our chat, Her Hideaways has launched Her Hideaways at Home as a way for women everywhere to access the resources and virtual events that are needed so you can prioritize your overall wellness. A link to the website is also going to be in the show notes. If you enjoyed today's show and the tips that were shared, please let me know. Take a screenshot, post it in Instagram stories, and tag me at @the_Shannon Baker. And remember, you are more than enough. So until next time, keep calm and streamline.